Good evening, my name is Leila Willems.
And I am Jolisa, and our main story tonight is Brexit.
Let's first look at the facts. On the 23rd of June 2016, the British people went out and voted in a referendum that would determine their future in the European Union. The results of that vote were 52% in favour of leaving the Union. However, the vote was very divided, with both Scotland and Northern Ireland voting to remain, as well as larger cities. The day after the referendum, David Cameron stepped down as Prime Minister to be replaced by Theresa May. While Prime Minister May is personally against leaving the Union, she has plans to move forward with the process to leave the Union called triggering Article 50 by March 2017. All of this, of course, has had a profoundly negative impact on the economy.
Absolutely, Leila. The UK already lost its AAA rating, so borrowing money will be more expensive in the future. On top of that, share prices of the FTSE 100 and FTSE 250 went down, and the Bank of England decided to cut interest rates from 0.5% to 0.025%, a new record low since 2009, when of course the financial crisis was in full swing. Government finances are estimated to be £122 billion off if we look from now until the year 2021. The most dramatic results for the economy can be found with the value of the pound. Customers will likely have noticed that their pound is worth less in stores, and especially those citizens that live abroad but still get their wages in pounds will have noticed their lack of buying power. The pound went into free fall following the Brexit, and due to fears for the so-called hard Brexit, it is expected that it will reach its parity with the euro by the end of 2017. But it can't be all that bad, can it, Leila? After all, with a vote for Brexit, what does that mean for one of the crucial campaign process of spending the £350 million we sent to Brussels per week on the NHS?
That was, of course, one of the campaign promises by the Leave campaign, even going so far as to put it on a bus and drive it around the country. Unfortunately, that campaign promise seems to be very unlikely to be actually fulfilled, starting, of course, with the fact that the numbers are wrong. The actual number is close to £161 million per week, and numbers show that to keep access to the European Union single market, the United Kingdom would have to pay close to £121 billion per week.
Speaking of the single market, isn't that another big part of the debate at the moment?
Oh yes, very much so. We already know that whenever Prime Minister May will trigger Article 50 and start the negotiations, the trade will be a huge deal of those trade negotiations. Combined, the European Union would be the UK's biggest trade partner, and a lot of businesses in the UK rely on access to the free market of the European Union. And while the UK will be keen on getting access to free transportation of goods, services and money, the free access of people will likely be the issue, as immigration was another hot-button topic during the election cycle. Another possible solution, of course, is access to the customs union, but not a free market, much in the same principle as Turkey. This would mean the UK uses the same customs deal as the rest of Europe and follows the regulations in terms of point of origin, but it would still leave it outside of the single market. Different types of deals, of course, will be preferential to different types of companies.
Absolutely. Take, for example, the banks. A big question still left is, of course, London City, the financial heart of not only the United Kingdom, but also the European Union. Right now, some of the biggest financial institutions in the world are wondering how to react to this uncertain future.
Yes, of course. The banks rely on staying within the open market for trade, services and free exchange of money. But with those basic necessities being at risk, other financial cities are looking to persuade some of the banks to move.
Indeed. Now the banks themselves would prefer to stay in the city, but with reassurances that they will still have this free access. If they can't get those promises, then they will look for contingency plans, likely meaning a move to another European city. It is clear that whichever the solutions, Prime Minister May will have her work cut out for her. In other news, the European Commission made a revolutionary decision when it ordered Ireland to claw back a record-breaking €10 million in tax cuts. Apple, however, is unlikely to take this decision lying down, as is the Irish government. With Apple calling the decision seriously flawed, the European Union reasoning being that the iPhones are at least partially designed in Ireland and therefore are subject to the European Union tax law. The laws from Apple, however, state that while Ireland certainly has many fine products, the iPhone is not one of them, as the iPhone is a uniquely US product. Ireland has filed an appeal against the ruling, but has already been asked by the European courts to tweak it. All of this, of course, will have an impact on the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, or TTIP. The massive but controversial agreement between the United States and the European Union seems less and less likely, not only in light of this tax ruling, but also because President-elect Trump is not in favor of the agreement and because of crucial elections in France and Germany.
In the United States of America, the Fight for 15 movement gained more momentum when Senator Bernie Sanders took to the stage. The Fight for 15 movement, of course, still holds onto its demands of making the minimum wage $15 per hour in all of the United States and thereby have it be livable again. Additionally, it asks for the rights of all workers to organize into unions, something that for many fast food workers and other low-wage employees still is impossible. Senator Sanders is supported in these claims by Robert Reich, former Secretary of Labor from the Clinton administration. Of course, there are still many that are against the movement, stating that it hurts workers' interests because companies will be moved to use more digital means rather than people. President-elect Trump has been calling for both a drop in the minimum wage and for raising it back to living standards. We can only be certain that this will be another interesting issue for the Trump administration. In other United States news, a new analysis of the Accountability Office has found that 19.5% of all large companies reported no earnings and thus paid no income tax in 2012. When looking at the period between 2006 and 2012, roughly 2/3 of all larger companies in the United States paid no federal income tax for at least 1 year. Furthermore, this analysis found that the effective tax rate is only 14% in the companies that do pay taxes. All of this has resulted in a drop in the federal tax revenue and a call for serious tax reform by Democrats, who specifically mention that big companies do not need more tax cuts when there are thousands living in poverty. They call to close these corporate tax loopholes and to incentivize companies to create more jobs.
Our final story tonight is about Black Friday, the traditional shopping day that is taking Europe by storm. Of course, Black Friday began as a shopping tradition in the United States, where the day after Thanksgiving would usually be the signal of the holiday shopping period and would traditionally be paired with large sales. The demand for these sales often reaching such levels that the day also became synonymous with the chaos amongst the shoppers. Now, European retailers, especially those under American ownership, decided to bring the tradition over to Europe. And since 2013, we've been seeing the phenomenon hit the UK and online stores. Sales are expected to reach another record high this year, with Black Friday growing out from a single day to, for some stores, an entire week. And that was our program. My name is Jolisa van Endert.
And I'm Leila Willems. We wish you a pleasant evening.